Well, hello and welcome to this edition of the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. First of all, I feel like this is the first time in certainly weeks, maybe months, that I've been able to start the show off with a smile. We've had a lot of stress, we've had a lot of negative stuff week after week after week. But this week, I feel like we can breathe. That's because the presidential race is behind us, the inauguration is behind us. Well, the pandemic isn't behind us. Let me just say that. We'll get back to that, though, in a couple of weeks. But this week, we're going to talk about the inauguration. We're going to talk about really what I think has been an opportunity for America, certainly for Black America, and certainly for Black women to celebrate. And that's what we're going to focus on today on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. I have a panel of experts. What makes them experts? Well, they are all women of color. And that's the focus because I feel like as we watched the inauguration this week, we were able to not only smile, we were able to laugh, in some cases cry, because we watched the first female woman of color take the oath as the Vice President of the United States. So, who are my guests? Well, Tammy Spencer Bay is one of my guests. She is a private manager with BNY Mellon. And let me also say that what these women do in their careers has absolutely nothing to do really with what we're talking about today. I'm just telling you what they do by way of perspective. Charlene Fogarty Barnett is the community archivist with the Teenie Harris collection at the Carnegie Museum of Art. Samantha Clancy is the in-house counsel, assistant general counsel for a Pittsburgh-based healthcare initiative. And Jessica Brooks is the CEO of the Pittsburgh Group on Health. Welcome to you all. I'm sure I
Thank
stumbled
you.
over some of
Thank
that
you.
somewhere, but it kind of gives you an idea that these are all professional women. They bring a lot of different perspectives to this. Charlene, I'm going to start with you. You watched the inauguration on Wednesday.
I
Range of
did
emotions that you felt.
everything you can think of. Full disclaimer, I'm not a huge fan of politics because, I'm well aware that I don't know of any government that can really solve all our problems. And I do worry that the incoming administration has a lot of pressure on it to be perfect, but they're not God, so they can't be. But as I watch this, being a professional woman, and of course through my work with the Teenie Harris Photo Archive, I've been exposed to historical images of so many prominent Black women, and they have sustained our communities across the country throughout the decades to get to this very moment. So it means a lot to me to see what our parents worked for, what we've worked for, what we're trying to do with our own children, our own daughters and sons. And I don't know, it was a big moment for me because, I've been glued to shows like The Crown and Bridgerton lately. That has a lot to do with the Duke. But anyway, but these are women and Black women in power, and I know my mom and I would have had a great time watching this together because we would have been looking at the clothing, we would have been looking at the posturing. My mother was a seamstress, so she would have picked every little thing out about what the significance of the clothing meant. And yesterday, she was actually born January 20th in 1918.
Wow.
So I have to say my first impression was, gee, Mom, I wish you were here with me.
Absolutely. Jessica, what about you? Range of emotions as you watched the day unfold.
Well, we're in COVID, so my 8-year-old daughter was
Mm.
homeschooling, and I had the opportunity to watch Kamala Harris, Vice President, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, be sworn in with my 8-year-old daughter,
Mm.
and I wasn't exactly sure if she knew all that meant, and it was like, yes, she expected it.
Wow.
It wasn't the way we feel. It was second nature to her, and she expected it to be that way. Why wouldn't it be? And her reaction really took me back a little bit. Just that assurance and that confidence, and that's exactly what that moment meant. Is my kids' future, my daughter's future, my son's futures, and I didn't expect to be as emotional as I was. I don't know why I didn't expect that, but I didn't. It hit me all of a sudden, and I knew I was in the moment with all of you. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a special time.
Wow. And so it's interesting that your 8-year-old, those are her expectations. Very interesting. Tammy, how about you?
So for me, it was exciting, emotional. Um, it let me know that my daughters are 27, 26, and 22.
Mm-hmm.
And so it let me know no matter what they go through, no matter the hardships that they may endure, they can do and be anything that they want. And it was just so nice to see it. I did cry at certain points
Mm-hmm.
because it was just like, wow, not only was Barack Obama the African American president, first African American president, but now we have a um, Black South Asian descent, vice president who represents the households of America. She's in a biracial relation, in marriage, and she has a blended family. And so that's important because a lot of families have that, and she represents America. And it was just a great moment. It was just a great moment to see how hard she worked for everything that she has endured over the years. And it come to be, at this moment.
It all came together at this moment.
It all
Samantha,
came together.
I'm gonna let you bring up the rear on this panel. Same kind of sense of emotions that everyone else has talked about here.
Absolutely. And similar to Tammy, I mean, I counted the number of times I cried and report back to my family like, hey, I just cried again. So it was 5. I was up to 5 separate incidents where I cried, but it was overwhelming emotionally because again, what everyone has stated, it's a Black woman, but it's an HBCU grad. And I didn't even go to an HBCU, but I know the importance of HBCUs to our community. An attorney, I'm an attorney. So to look at this woman who was only the second Black woman United States Senator, then ascend to, the second highest position in arguably the world, if you consider American politics to have that place. There's nothing, I almost can't put it into words because it made me that emotional. And then finally, of course, I am also a woman of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So to see my sorority sister be the first person to ascend to those heights and give us new shoulders to stand on. I know we always say we're standing on the shoulders of our giants. It's nice to see a living legend, someone that we can all look up to no matter our age, but from 8-year-old children and younger to all women of all ages. It was just a beautiful day for America, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Now, of course, with that ascension comes pressure, comes a lot of responsibility, comes a burden, and we're going to talk about that coming up after the commercial break. So stay with us. We have a lot to talk about today on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. Don't go away.